Hello again, everyone. Welcome to Coffee Break Q&A. My name is Michael Moret. Coffee Break Q&A is your opportunity to ask Bible questions, and it is a ministry of Scripture verse by verse where you can study the whole Bible verse by verse with me using my audio Bible messages. Study at your pace, at your convenience at thebibleversebyverse.com. But today we do have a question from a listener, and by the way, I will give you the email address at the end of the broadcast where you can send any questions you might have. The listener writes, Mike, is great faith necessary for a miracle? This person is caught up in the Word of Faith movement. The Word of Faith movement is a movement that is built upon heresy. You know, it wasn't that long ago where they were considered to be outcasts, even among Pentecostals. But now they have become the norm in Pentecostalism, and they have even spilled over into much of modern evangelicalism. And I have spoken of these heretics in the past, these liars, these deceivers, who really operate a pyramid scheme, a Ponzi scheme is more accurate, where the guys on the top, especially the national ministers, they make tons of money by appealing to people's greed, telling them, twisting the scriptures, telling them that if they have enough faith, there's a miracle out there for them. There's all sorts of miracles out there waiting for you if you will just send your money to this ministry and have enough faith. And the whole thing is a lie. And they say if you don't get your miracle, it's because you don't have enough faith. So they get themselves off the hook temporarily until they die and are cast into hell for misusing God's holy word and for lying. The fact is, great faith is not necessary for miracles. Not when you look at what the Bible teaches. Again, all these heretics would be out of business. The cults would be out of business if people would just read and study their Bible and not let their flesh get in there and warp the interpretation. Great faith is not necessary for miracles. Jesus fed thousands and thousands of people with a little boy's lunch. That certainly wasn't because of their faith. None of them believed, including the apostles. They said, where are we going to get food for all these people? They didn't have faith. But Jesus did it anyway. Jesus healed people. He did miracles for people who had zero faith. How about the people that he raised from the dead? Their parents didn't have faith. They didn't have faith. Obviously, they're dead. He raised them from the dead. So Jesus did miracles for people who had no faith. He did miracles for people who had little faith. And on occasion, there were people who had great faith. But the point is, great faith is not necessary for miracles. You know what is? You know what determined the miracles that Jesus did? The sovereignty of God, whether he thought it was a good idea or not. And there were a lot of miracles in Jesus' day and in the apostles' days because the New Testament was not written. And with Jesus, it was to prove that he was the Son of God, to validate his message of him being the Messiah and God. He did things that only God could do. The disciples did not expect Jesus to be able to walk on water, but he walked on water. They didn't expect him to calm the storm. They thought they were going to die. But he calmed the storm. He did miracles when it suited his divine, sovereign purposes, whether people had faith or not. And that's still the way it is today. You pray, and if it's God's will, yes, God can do anything, and God can do a miracle, absolutely. So pray and ask him if you want one, if you feel you need one, but trust in the sovereignty of God, because that's always when he does miracles, when it suits his sovereign purpose. If you have a question for me, please send it to scriptureversebyverse@gmail.com.